get your final thoughts after our final speaker here, and that is, of course, last but not least, Sanjay Loyalka. So we are very much enjoying all the insight that we're getting today from our various presenters, and of course, we haven't saved the best for last. We've got all of our fantastic people here today who are providing really good insights into this space, but we do have to finish somewhere, and that is, of course, with the Managing Director of Shree Minerals. Now, Sanjay is the founder and chairman of Shree Minerals. He's a seasoned professional with extensive experience in various functional roles, including as the Chief Executive Officer, General Manager, and also as a critical corporate finance experienced person in manufacturing with logistics and mining and also metals domains. As for the company itself, Shree Minerals is an Australian diversified mineral exploration and mine development company. The company is committed to creating shareholder value through the successful exploration of prospective gold, base metal, lithium and iron ore projects located throughout Australia. The company has a diverse project portfolio that includes the Nelson Bay Iron Ore Project and other gold and base metal projects, including the Lachlan Fold Belt, Albany Fraser and the Kookynie West projects. Shree recently divested its interest in Arunta, a joint venture, and the company is now planning further drilling programs at the tenement to test lithium and gold deposits. Now, there is a lot, of course, to unpack there. And so to tell us about all these exciting developments, I'll now turn the screen over to you, Sanjay.
Thank you, James. Thanks for having us. Good afternoon and welcome to all the participants. Thank you for your interest in Shree Minerals. I'll take this brief opportunity to run you through a summary presentation about our various projects. So I'll just share the screen right now.
Perfect. Thanks, Sanjay.
Thanks, James. So this photograph is of a drilling in one of our projects. This is the Golden Chimney project in Western Australia. This was an RC campaign which we did there. Just flick through that. Just a brief corporate overview. So our market cap is currently hovering around 20 million Australian dollars. The share price has run up in the last 4 to 5 weeks. It was sitting at around $10 million at the beginning of the year. Even with the share price increase at $20 million, you will see when I go through the presentation that we are significantly undervalued. Our top 20 shareholders have about 50% of the register, with the directors having about 15%, and we have about $3 million cash as of the last reporting period. On the board, besides myself, we have Mr. Bossio, who's got a strong experience of over 20 years in corporate finance. We have Amu and Michael, he's our chief geologist. So we have a fairly experienced team in mining and metals. James mentioned we have a diversified portfolio spread throughout Australia. Our oldest project is Nelson Bay Iron Project, which is in northwest Tasmania. It's an advanced project. I'll tell you more about that later. Lachlan Fold, we have some exciting gold tenements in New South Wales. In Western Australia and the Albany Fraser, we have the Dundas Project, which we're very excited about. It's a large piece of real estate in the neighborhood of lithium, nickel, as well as gold. And it is early days. We haven't started work there, which we are going to start shortly. But yeah, that's a very exciting project. Then in Kookynie West, we have two exciting gold projects there. Arunta Project, we've entered into a sale agreement with another company, which is looking at doing an IPO and listing in ASX over the next couple of months. Besides our project, they also have manganese and lithium here in the Pilbara region. So yeah, we would have shares. So that's also, we look forward to having those shareholding in that exciting vehicle. Nelson Bay Iron Ore Project, it's in northwest Tasmania. It's in a very good mineralized bed. We have Savage River, which is one of the oldest magnetite mines in Australia. It produces blast furnace pellets. we have a resource of about just under 1.5 million tons of goethite hematite, which is, we call it direct shipping ore, as well as BFO. A part of that is BFO, which requires a small bit of beneficiation. It's basically passing through a dry MEG separation, so it's almost within the DSO bracket. So half of that resource is roughly is DSO, half is BFO. And then we have about 8 million tons of magnetite. As far as the DSO resource is concerned, we developed this mine back in 2013, and we produced between November 13 and middle of 2014. The product was very well received. It had approximately 58% Fe, low alumina. 40% of the product was lump, which gets a premium compared to the general fines. And our cost of production, all in cost FOB, was Australian dollar 72. We believe that we'll have a similar kind of a cost structure going forward. The mine has been on care and maintenance in the middle of 2014, and we have started re-permitting of the project to start production. That process is fairly well advanced, and we hope to have the permit over the course of this year, and then we can take a decision to start the mine. The project used to use Port Burney, and we have recently entered into an agreement with TasRail, who have the ship loader and the storage facilities at the port for use of those facilities. The project itself, it's a staged approach which we had adopted. That is the mining of BSO first, which is an all-contractor operated mining, processing, and haulage operation. There is no processing other than crushing and screening. These are all mobile equipment which can readily be mobilized to site. There is existing infrastructure and development in place. To restart the mine, we would have to have some incremental infrastructure, mainly for environmental management, which resolves mostly around water management, some additional water storage dams and treatment plant, but that's very minimal. So we believe once a decision to restart DSO operations are taken, it would not take us very long to restart the operations. Once the DSO ore is exhausted, we would go to the BFO, which, as I mentioned, would require an additional processing, which is passing through a dry magnetic drum. And the test work has indicated that that would bring it up to the product, which is very similar to what the DSO product is. It requires very minimal capital expenditure to do this. And then once we have done that, then we go to the magnetite ore. Our magnetite ore, the test work has indicated that it's a very coarse grained structure. It upgrades to a concentrate of 67 to 69% Fe, which is, so being coarse grained, it requires very little power, and it produces a very high quality product. This can be used for blast furnace pellet feed. We have, of course, in the neighborhood, Port Lata of Grand Resources, so they could be a potential customer, or we could export it to China or other markets. Alternatively, it can also be sold to the cold washing market. Magnetite ore, the product does not require external heating in the blast furnace. It is exothermic, so it fetches a premium both because it is a higher quality product. So while there is a processing involved and the cost is higher, but ultimately, we get a much higher price. So it is a very profitable operation as well. Now, the resource that I mentioned is, we believe we are sitting on a very large system. This is a 3D image of a geophysical study, inverse magnetic modeling that was done by us. So as you can see, this is a 4-kilometer long anomaly. It is significantly deep. The current resource is this shaded. This is the resource that 11 odd million tons between the magnetite and the hematite is sitting here. So as you can see, it is significantly open at depth. In fact, from the drilling, our deepest holes are all open along strike. And as we get deeper, the width increases. The aeromagnetic anomaly through which it was initially discovered is a 4-kilometer long strike. and the drilling is sitting only at the northern end. So this magnetite resource is sitting over half a kilometer of that strike length, and so this is a 4 kilometer long strike. We have not done the exploration work because we believe, okay, we have enough resources at this point of time to develop a mine and get going, but in the fitness of time, we would do the exploration, and we believe we are sitting on a fairly large system there. Moving on to our Dundas Project in Western Australia. Dundas is in the Albany-Fraser Oregon belt. We believe it is in the along strike of the well-endowed Gulf Boulder Lefroy zone and Zulika Shear, which have been host to a lot of gold mines and lithium deposits. World-class lithium in pegmatites are very close, which are host to these greenstone belts and in these shears. We have in our neighborhood the Buldania Lithium Project. Also in our neighborhood, we have this Metal Hawks Breaker Project, which has very good gold intersections. And then to our south, we have this Dundas Minerals, which recent geophysical work shows nickel presence. On our lease, there has been very little exploration done. Historically, going back about 20 years back, there was some work done by Anglo Gold. They had done soil sampling, very wide space soil sampling, which was followed by a little bit of drilling by Panos. As you can see, those drilling showed up quite interesting gold. These are all air core drilling. There was no deep diamond drilling or anything. So they've shown up some very good, interesting anomalies. And so we picked up the license, initially picked up the license based on this work. While we were looking at the historical work, we found that the drilling had intersected pegmatites, which were not assayed because at that point of time, they were only looking at gold. So you can see these dots where the pegmatites have been intersected, inspection of the drill logs of that period of. Now those drill spoils are not available, so we can't go back and resample. So we would go in straight away into air core drilling sometime over the next few months. This license was granted in October 21. We were notified in November 21. We had applied for it in the middle of 20. Initially, the license took 1.5 years to be granted. We had to go through a conservation management plan to be approved by the department, which was done. And now we have done a flora-fauna survey in November, and we were waiting for heritage surveys over the summer season. It's too warm for those concerned prescribed body to go in there. In autumn, they will start the surveys in that region. They are very busy, so they've not given us a time schedule. So it will happen sometime over autumn. And as soon as that is done over the next couple of months, we would go and start an air core drilling campaign to see both the gold as well as the lithium in the pegmatite. Moving on to this license, 2048, there is absolutely been no drilling there. The historical soil sampling are very wide space. So the first thing that we would do is go in and do infill soil sampling, which would be then followed up by air core drilling. And then for the last license here, we have just made an application about 4 months back, which we hope would be granted sometime during this year. As you can see, this is a cross section of one of the historical drilling, which shows the logged pegmatite zones. This is where the gold, which was assayed, this was not assayed. So they're fairly broad zones of pegmatites, which have not been assayed. This is just one of the cross sections. So we have on several cross sections, we have found the pegmatites are present. So the planned work, as I've already mentioned, the flora fauna surveys have been completed. Heritage surveys are planned for autumn, which will be then filled up by infill auger work on 2048 and air core drilling here in 2046. Lachlan Fold, this is another exciting opportunity that we have in New South Wales. These licenses were also all picked up last year. We have gone through the initial stages of doing the landholder access agreements, and we have done the soil sampling work. This picture here shows the IP anomalies, and the soil sampling work. We have planned a drilling campaign which is expected to start shortly. This just shows the historical work there at Lachlan Fold, where the drilling had intersected. So we are going to do drilling there. Lachlan Fold, we believe it is a IRGS style mineralizations, and so the drilling has been very shallow. We will also initially do shallow drilling just to test the soil anomalies, and then we will follow it up with deeper drilling to test the concept. Another license which we have recently picked up in Lachlan Fold is Oak Hill tenement, which was granted only last month. It is adjacent to a license here, which has got proven gold resources, 150,000 ounces at Stony Park and Emps Park. As you can see, our license, this magnetic anomaly strikes in features, strike into our features, as well as if you can see the soil sample anomalies, they strike into our features. So we will, as soon as we can get all the landholder access agreements and the initial approvals in place, which should happen fairly quickly, we would go and do initially a soil sampling program, because these are all wide space soils, and then we will decide the next steps. Moving across in Western Australia, near Leonora, we have this Kookynie West project consisting of 2 tenements, Golden Chimney and Ulysses. They are just south of the Ulysses project of Genesis. The mineralization there happens in a sequence of dolerite and basalt in the region, and which, we have similar features at our tenements. They are underexplored, and we would follow up with appropriate exploration there. Arunta Project, which I mentioned, we have entered into an agreement with Metal Groves Mining, which they are looking at doing an IPO and listing on the ASX. The Arunta Project that we have, it's a joint venture. We own currently around 80% of the project. Edwards Creek, it's a gold prospect, it's a copper prospect. The historical drilling had intersected about 2% copper. It's just next to the Johnny's Reward gold prospect. Then we have Bruce Gold Project. The Bruce Project, there are multiple quartz veins which have, and rock chip sampling. There have been no drilling there. The rock chip sampling has shown up to 53 grams per ton of gold and 1.7 copper. So yeah, that's and also there are numerous historic working on pegmatites, which are prospective for lithium and rare earths. The historical work by NTGS shows that it's the rare earths possibility there. And Boxhole is the final license there, which is prospective for lead zinc, which we did a project with CSIRO last year, and they have developed a 3D model. So yeah, that's in summary about us. I just wanted to keep it very brief to give you an overview. As you can see, we have a very diversified portfolio of various minerals, iron ore, gold, lithium, and we are at very early stages. And so we believe we are in cusp of a very exciting times in the course of this year and next year as we embark on various works. So switch over to James for any question answers.
Sanjay, thank you very much for going through that. There's certainly a lot of information to cover, and yeah, plenty of drilling going on for you guys, and also quite exciting that there are still some projects that you haven't even begun at, which just means that things could go to the next level as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Wonderful stuff. Now I'll just get you to stop sharing that screen for me if you can, so we can get you nice and big on the little video part there. And there we go, perfect. All right, so we do have a few questions that have come through, Sanjay. We'll start with John, who says, with minerals exploration and mining companies extending their presence in the battery minerals space, what is Shree Minerals' strategy for these critical minerals?
Well, we are a mineral explorer and a developer. At the board level, we have experience of developing and operating mines as well as exploration. So we have a diversified suite of minerals in our portfolio, which and as far as the battery metals are concerned, I think they're all relevant. We have in the Dundas Project lithium and nickel. It's an underexplored province in a world-class area. Those shears, the Julika shear and the Belfry boulder shears in greenstones, they are host to these pegmatites and to lithium as well as gold. So I think, we are, while it is early days, we haven't started work at that project, but we are very excited. And I think, the blue sky potential is very high there.
Absolutely. A question here as well from Henry J. We've got two Henrys asking questions at the moment. Henry J, though, says, how soon can we expect the resumption of mining activities at the Nelson Bay River Iron Project?
We are fairly advanced on the re-permitting process. We had started that process in end of 2018. So it had gone through a couple of years. EPA went through a very cautious approach, and they issued a guidelines after public consultation for preparation of a DPMP following the completion of necessary studies. That DPMP was developed. It went through a few iterations, and once the regulator was happy with it, they have advertised it for public comment, which period has just ended. And so we are waiting for any further information request or anything if the regulator has. And our understanding is it takes a few months for them to complete their internal processes of completing all the reporting, etc., goes to the board meeting. So we are hoping there may be requests to us for further information, which we should know in another week or so. If there are, then we should attend to it fairly quickly. It is a proven operation, so we would hope that any information request we would be able to do without any further technical work. It should only be test of work, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. So either way, we would expect that we should have the permit during the course of this year. And once the permit is had, we have the infrastructure arrangement already in place. It is a proven operation, so all the contractors, we are in regular touch. We can mobilize them fairly quickly. So the board would have to take a formal decision to restart the mine, which can only be taken once the permit is in hand. And once the decision is taken, the infrastructure that we need to build is not too much. It should not take more than 3-4 months to build once the mobilization is complete. So yeah, we could be in production towards the end of this year if everything lines up, or somewhere around that.
Sanjay, would there be any particular reason why the board would potentially not decide to proceed with that?
No, we are. I do not see any reason why the board would not proceed with that. It's already an operation which is proven. It's known to us. We have we have made a lot of investment keeping the mine in care and maintenance in good condition, and have progressed the recommencement and spent a lot of management time and effort to do the re-permitting process. Of course, commodity prices are volatile. They are a function of commodity iron ore prices, ocean freights, exchange rates. Currently, of course, they are quite suitable. We had to close down the mine and put it on care and maintenance back in 2014 when iron ore came down to close to $40. Iron ore is now $140, so it is quite viable. So the only reason is that the recommencement decision could be delayed is if the economics change. But currently, economics are quite suitable, and I would hope and expect that the board would take a suitable decision to start the mine.
No, sounds terrific, and you've certainly got all your plans lined up for when that time does come. Let's move on to Timothy Smithy, who says, Shree has added Oak Hill tenement into its Lachlan Fold Belt Gold portfolio. What is Shree's exploration plan in the region?
Our exploration plans in the region, we are, as I said, as far as Rock Lodge is concerned, we are going to start drilling there. The drilling should have started there. The drilling contractor, we had started a drilling in December, but that drill rig was not giving us enough meters per day. It was not productive, and so that drill was demobilized, and we contracted another contractor who was supposed to start a couple of weeks back. That drill was delayed because of the extension of the last job. That drill has now been mobilized to the site, and they are just setting up. So we expect the drilling to start anytime now in the next couple of days. As So that's the Rock Lodge prospect, which we are going to start drilling. At Oak Hill, that license has just been granted last month. So we are initially going through the initial landholder access agreements and the necessary agreements with the department to start the work, which we hope should not take much time. We will initially start with the infill soil sampling because the current soil samplings are quite wide space, and it is along strike of two known deposits. So we would probably get into immediately after the soil sampling into a drilling, I would think. Maybe we might need to do some geophysical works to better define the targets for drilling. So yeah, with a little bit of luck, we should be drilling sometime during this year at Oak Hill as well.
Absolutely. Now, another question from another Henry. This one is Henry Thomas, who says, the exploration studies highlighted excellent prospectivity for lithium at Dundas. What is Shree's exploration plan for that project?
At Dundas, we are going to start exploration there once the heritage surveys are completed over the next few months. So there are 3 tenements that we have. 2 are granted tenements, 2046 and 2048. And 2136 is an exploration license, which we hope to get granted during the course of this year. At 2046 and 2048, we are going to start exploration in the next few months. 2046 will start with an air core drilling. This is along strike of the previous drilling where they had intersected gold and pegmatite. So once we have those drilling done, we will be able to sample for those lithiums and take it forward there. In 2048, there has been no drilling. There's been some soil sampling, which are very wide space. They're about 5 kilometer slices. So we're going to do some infill soil sampling via auger sampling over the next few months. And then once we can define the anomalies better, then we will follow it up with appropriate drilling.
Absolutely brilliant. Now, final question for you, Sanjay, before we then get your final thoughts along with Iggy's. This is from one of our anonymous attendees today who asks, what is your long-term strategy around lithium, considering good demand outlook coming in from battery manufacturers?
As a mineral explorer, we are at very early stages. We would hope to be successful in finding a deposit. We are in a very good underexplored region, which is prospective for the mineral. So we would look for discovering and having an exploration success at our current tenement. And we also have a very active business development program. As you can see, the company has been successful in the last 1.5 years in building up this portfolio of this in highly prospective areas in the Lachlan Fold and in Western Australia. All these leases were pegged in the last 1.5 years. So we'll continue our exercise of business development of identifying further opportunities and pegging more ground, as well as looking for more advanced opportunities, to try, because we believe we have the strength, the technical knowledge to advance both exploration and develop. So we would be very aggressively pursuing that business development along with exploration using all the modern techniques to find in our existing tenements.
Look, I can tell you now, Sanjay, every single question you've certainly got an answer for. There is definitely a plan about what you're doing with Shree Minerals. So it all sounds fantastic. Just before I let you go and also turn it over to Iggy, we'll get your final thoughts from both of you on being involved today and also what you'd like our attendees and your potential investors to walk away with. Sanjay, we'll start with you, given we've just had that question and answer period there. What do you want people who are attending today to take away for Shree Minerals?
James, basically Shree Mineral, we are a company with a very low market cap, but we have a very exciting portfolio. We have a near-term production possibility at our Nelson Bay Iron Project. We have exploration success possibility at Lachlan Fold and at Dundas. And then, of course, we have active business development program. So, I think we have exciting times ahead of us over the next couple of years. And our journey, we are really grossly undervalued. So I think, that's the message. There is an opportunity here. Of course, we are at early stages in some of our exploration play, but then we are in an advanced stage as far as iron ore is concerned.
Terrific. Well, Sanjay, thank you so very much for giving those final insights. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't get a question answered today, or maybe you've thought of one late, you can still get them answered from all of our experts. Just give us an email, info@kalkinemedia.com, and that is the easiest way that we can get in touch with our experts, and we'll pass on your question, make sure that we can get a nice little response back. But one final time, thank you very much for getting involved. If you have attended today, Iggy, thank you very much. And Sanjay, thank you very much.
Hey guys, take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that is a wrap for this edition of our InvestNest webinar. Hope you enjoyed it. And of course, just a final reminder, if you do have one of those questions that you haven't got answered yet, maybe you've thought of it late, info@Kalkine Media. But that is all for now. My name is James Preston. Hope you enjoyed the webinar, and we'll catch you next time.